Overthinking is the ultimate thief of joy, robbing you of your precious time by keeping you trapped in your own thoughts. And having struggled with overthinking myself for so long, I've spent years experimenting with different methods and strategies, and I came up with my 6 tips that I use to prevent myself from overthinking. But first, we must ask ourselves, why do we overthink so much? People overthink for many reasons, but mainly it's just because our brains are wired to analyze and problem solve. When we face uncertainty or something complex, our minds kick into high gear trying to anticipate our outcomes and find solutions. However, sometimes this natural tendency can just spiral out of control and lead you to overthinking. Also, factors like stress, anxiety, perfectionism, and past experiences can increase overthinking tendencies. It's like our brains get stuck in the loop, playing scenarios over and over again and worrying about what could go wrong. I do have a tendency to overthink. This is one of the biggest problems I have. And I just realized that as I get older, I actually have a tendency to overthink more compared to when I was younger. And I think the reason being is because when I was younger, I was a little bit more ignorant on a lot of things, and I just did things and without thinking about the consequences. And sure, I have made a lot of mistakes, but at least I didn't really overthink. So as you can see, it's almost like one of the drawbacks of maturing. So tip number 1 is challenge negative thoughts. When you catch yourself overthinking, challenge those negative thoughts. Ask yourself if they're really true or if there's another perspective you can consider. So like just yesterday, I knew that I was overthinking or I was on the negative loop of thinking. And each thing that I think about, it's not really that big of a deal, because when I jump from one topic to another topic, I don't even think about it. It doesn't even concern me at all. Like it's not a real problem. I just have a habit of just jumping from one negative thoughts to another negative thoughts, and then it just keeps going. It's just forever. So it's definitely from our human survival instinct. In old days, we had to worry about these wild animals that could potentially attack us and kill our children. But now we have that protection already. We have that civilization. We don't have to think about those type of dangers, but our human brains are still wired that way. So when I'm sitting on my couch and I think about this one possible, flat tire or something, just something minor, my mind doesn't really know the difference. That's when my body gets this tensed and then have this reaction from that small worry, small problem, and somehow my body feels like it's something that could actually endanger my life. Tip number 2, stay busy. Keep yourself occupied with activities you enjoy or tasks that need to be done. When your mind is engaged in something productive, it's less likely to dwell on negative thoughts. One of the things I do when I catch myself overthink is that I try to stay busy. I find it really helpful when I tackle on the things that are really easy and simple. For example, I start cleaning my room or I start doing the dishes. Those are very easy, simple tasks. It just gives me a sense of joy and accomplishment, knowing that I just finished one task so that I can move on to next. And then I can jump on to a little bit more challenging task. It could be work related or personal issues and whatnot. But I always start with something very simple and easy that pretty much anybody can do. Tip number 3, practice mindfulness. Pay attention to the present moment without judgment. Try mindfulness exercises like deep breathing or focusing on your senses to bring your mind back to here and now. So practicing mindfulness is very similar to doing a meditation. When you're meditating, the basic principle of meditation is that you want to bring focus to the present moment. And there are a lot of ways to do the meditations. The one way I like it is that I sometimes hold my breath on purpose and then feel the pain or feel the desire for my body to breathe the air. And that pain is real. When I'm working with something real, it's easier for me to come to realization that I'm in this present moment. Because the problem with overthinking is that your body may be physically here, but your mind is always elsewhere. But as soon as I feel the pain in my body, that brings the focus into the present moment. But don't hold your breath for too long where I don't want you to suffocate. I just do it for a brief moment. That was the trick that I use. Number 4, set time limits. Give yourself a specific amount of time to think about a problem or decision. Once the time is up, make a choice and move forward. I always try to put a time limit on each task that I try to accomplish that day, which gives me a sense of urgency and it gives me more focus to get it down more effectively. The problem I face, with setting a time limit on overthinking, however, it's very challenging because I have problem actually noticing that I am overthinking. But it takes time to notice that you are in the loop of negative thinking or overthinking is number one. But once you find it, instead of, hey, I'm gonna avoid it or I'm just so worried, just face it. Just face whatever the problem you're thinking about and then give yourself some time. Okay, all right, I am thinking about this problem. This could be a potentially something I need to really think about because it could potentially give me big issues. But give yourself time to, hey, I'm gonna think about this for the next 5 to 10 minutes and then whether or come up with the solution, we're gonna find out. But I don't wanna avoid it. I'm gonna face the problem and then see what I can do about it. Number 5, distract yourself. Find activities that help take your mind off your worries, like going for a walk, listening to music, or spending time with your friends. Engaging in enjoyable activities can shift your focus away from overthinking. Some of the things I do to distract myself from overthinking and that I really like is exercise or taking a cold plunge. When I have a physical stimulations applied to my body, it really helps me to stop overthinking, especially when I have to push myself, or if you jump into the cold water, it's cold as hell, You're not gonna be thinking about this minor thing that you have to finish or whatever. And another thing that I really, really enjoy is I like to spend time with good friends. People who are not judgmental, who are willing to listen to you, who actually care about you. That always makes you feel great afterward and kind of takes your mind off of your worries. Lastly, number 6, practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself. Recognize that it's okay to have thoughts and feelings, even if they're difficult. Treat yourself with the same understanding and support you would offer to a friend in a similar situation. It's very ironic that, we are very compassionate towards our friends and feeling the empathy, and when we talk to our friends and see that they are having some kind of issues, we're very open to listen to their concerns and give them advice. But when it comes to our own problems, for some reason we don't go through the same process. We tend to be more judgmental on ourselves, more hard on ourselves. And one of the ways to be more compassionate with yourself is by journaling. When you're journaling, this is an opportunity for you to be honest with yourself, really communicate with yourself, and then address the concerns, the problems you're dealing with at the moment. And if you want to learn how to journal step by step, check out the link right there. Until next time, my friend, stay feeling alive.